Hello, hello, hello. As we all know, the algorithm dictates I need to do more Pink Floyd videos, and so here I am. What we're going to do is we're going to be really lazy because you know I just can't be bothered anymore. It's like I've done it all. So what we're going to do is we're going to rely on an old conceit that many other, I'm going to say the word, content creators have used before me, and that's where you do the best and the worst, but we're going to do it by album by album. So in this video we're going to look at my favourite, very most favourite, the tippitest, toppitest, pippity poppitest, up the top of the puppity pop chart hit from this album. And then there might be another one, because if I do that then I can really stretch this out, and I can get many Pink Floyd videos out of very dry and desiccated subjects. Do you agree? Also, it gives me a wonderful opportunity to engage with the viewers. Look, you don't like me, I don't like you, but let's pretend that we get along, right? Just for these videos, and then you can, in the comments box, tell me how wrong I am, because that's what the comments box is for. You do that, and then you tell me what you think about the thing. In this case, it's Piper at the Gates of Dawn, originally released 5th of August 1967. You know that, because you know we've done this before. Do you know they started recording it 21st of February 1967. That's my birthday, that is. You know, 21st February. I wasn't there then, I'm not that old, but I might have been. And it's the very first. It's 41 minutes 54 seconds of psychedelic, wibbly wobbly, childish nonsense. This is I'm only doing this. I'm only doing this for the thumbnail, right? I'm flexing. Again, it's an interesting record, because really it's Barrett's own. Well, it's the only Pink Floyd album, isn't it? Because once Barrett's gone, it's not really Pink Floyd anymore. You know, people debate about when Waters left. Well, I posit when Barrett left, there was no more Pink Floyd. Now, again, if you're not familiar with this album, are you familiar with it? You should be. Barrett's fingerprints are all over it, because he writes the majority of the material. There's only, looking at it, 3 tracks where it isn't exclusively his. One of them is a Waters track, and the other 2 is a co-write. But so we can say that this really is Barrett's statement, isn't it? So I was looking at this. I was looking at this and I was thinking, oh, this is tricky, because I like quite a few of these. But how do we get it down? How? This is like making lists, and I hate making lists. And this is almost like a definitive statement, is it? How do I condense this down to one song? Because there are people out there in the YouTube world, they do this easily. They sit there and they go, oh, this, and they make the lists. And I can't do that. I just can't do it. But I'm going to do this, and this could change. There is a disclaimer. Now, like take the opening track, Astronomy Domini. I really like that one. But is it my favourite? It has some of the elements, because I am using there is a criteria for my selection. What we want a track that brings in all the elements of the Pink Floyd sound, and is in one track. And if you present it to someone, they go, yep, that is the track that defines the album. And this is tricky, because you could say it's Astronomy Domini, couldn't you? because you have the, you know, the off the wall lyrics. You know, you have those chuggy guitars, the keyboard wibbly wobbliness from right. You know, could be that, but it's not that one. You thought it was going to be that? No. Oh no. Lucifer Sam. Again, we have Barrett's childlike persona oozing from every lyric. Lucifer Sam's a good example of this. I like it, but I don't know. Matilda Mother. Flaming Power Tok H. No. Well, Take Up Your Thy Stethoscope and Walk, because it is a Waters track, gets kicked off because it's Barrett. Barrett is what made Pink Floyd, isn't it? His shadow looms large, even in their later albums. They need him. They need him, for his presence is felt all the time. He is their inspiration, isn't he? He's kind of their muse. So we get rid of that one. We flip the album Interstellar Overdrive. I nearly went with this one, but there's no lyrics. It's an instrumental, and it shows the band at their most psychedelic, I guess, musically psychedelic. And it's what it goes again. If you hear the live versions, there are live versions. They go off in freeform. They used to make this last for like an hour. You know, they could just go off onto, you know, flights of improvised fancy. And I was close to choosing this one. I was that close. It's a real personal favourite of mine. But because I'm using the criteria of what is the best song on the album, I'm going to put it to one side. The Gnome. Again, it's childlike. It has the Barrett's lyrics and the music that accompanies it is a very specific time. You know, it is very, again, psychedelia. The same can be said for Chapter 24 and The Scarecrow. You know, we have a run of very interesting Barrett pen songs. Each one, you know, if you put it on, you know what it is. You know who is singing, you know who the band is. But after much deliberation, and I did deliberate, I must have spent at least 8 minutes deciding on this, you know. So yeah, it's pretty tricky. I decided it's Bike. Why? Well, because you always wanted me to justify myself, like I'm in court. You know, like I got a kind of. Can't I just say Bike and just end the video? Can't I? Why can't I? Well, I'm going to explain. For those of you who have trouble understanding my choice, well, Bike. Not only do you have the playful lyrics of Barrett, right? It's also pop. It's like the most pop song on the album, and you got to remember, outside of the album, they released singles, you know, Candy and a Currant Bun and Arnold Lane. And of the album, this is the closest to what they were doing out externally, you know, because they weren't featured on. Obviously, they weren't featured on the album. So Bike kind of is an indicator of what they were, you know, when they're aiming for the charts, what they were capable of. You know, you have the psychedelic accompaniment, you know, when he does the "You're the Kind of Girl" bit. It's very psychedelic, isn't it? And like I say, it's also very humorous, like Arnold Lane is that British humour. It's a love song that's a bit clunky. It's got one leg longer than the other. You know what I'm saying. It's got a limp, isn't it? It's got a limp. And then we have the whole sound effects section at the end. Again, as a band, they used to, you know, they went on to sound effects a lot, didn't they? You think about it. But this is the first real example of them, you know, tinkering around in the studio, making all the little noises and whatnot. So in one song, not only do you get that kind of strong riffy guitar music. Yeah, again, you see with Interstellar Overdrive. Again, I wish I could have chosen you, but I had a very specific criteria here. Not only do you have that, you have the lyrics, and again the delightful vocal delivery from Barrett, a playfulness. It's a light, a playful song, a love song, and then you get the weird freak out bit at the end. Again, they condensed everything about the album into one song, and it's the perfect finale. It's the perfect end track, and that's why, in my opinion, as the king of music, I think we can all agree I am the king of music now. Yeah, because like the Thunder Tube, come on, I've got to be the king of music for the and look, I've also got. I think you can agree with me that Bike is the greatest song from Pink Floyd's Piper at the Gates of Dawn. I think we can all agree on that. And that's the first video. We're going to do every album, and it's going to be like an ordeal. It's going to be, you're going to be begging me to stop by the end of this. You're going to be saying, please stop this, Darren, please. We didn't deserve this. We just want you to unbox product and shut your mouth. That's what you're going to be saying. Just show us the fucking records. But I'm just trying to get the algorithm on my side. You know that. Why are you doing this, Dan? You doing it for clout? No. We're doing it to get the algorithm to get me back in the big time, where I belong. So there we go. I hate lists. One day I'm going to do my Pink Floyd list thing. That's probably when I'm going to be, if I'm ever terminally ill, that's how you'll know. So yeah, Bike. I deign Bike as the best song from Piper at the Gates of Dawn by the Pink Floyd. And I think you can agree. Shall I show you? Let's look at the vinyl. Go on, there you go. There's the front of it, and there's the back of it. That was the record store day one with the special sleeve in mono. And this is the stereo one. And when I want it in mono, I just stick my finger in my ear. You will laugh at that joke. You will laugh at that joke. And if you wait around long enough, if you're good boys and girls, there aren't any girls watching. If you're good boys and boys who like to slip on the dress, I'll probably do one where I talk about the worst song on the album. What do you reckon? Because then we get 2 videos out of one album. I could probably extend it to 3 if I do a list of them in order, because you guys love lists, don't you? But I don't know, I think I might be milking it. I think just doing the best and the worst is probably the best way to go, or the worst way to go. Best or the worst, I don't know. Anyway, thank you for watching. My name's been Darren Locke. I've been talking about Piper at the Gates of Dawn. Remember the titles taken from Kenneth Graham's Wind in the Willows, remember? With Froggy and Toad. No, that's something different. Toad of Toad Hall and all the other animals. Frog and Toad are 2 other. Do you remember Frog and Toad? Do you remember Frog and Toad from the 70s? I do. On the internet, if you go on Twitter and you search for Frog and Toad, they've got them in a gay relationship. But they were just good friends. Come on. Anyway, I went off on a bit of a tangent there, and this video is probably far too long, and people are probably complaining and hitting the thumbs down button. I'll do that, doesn't matter. Anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed this. I haven't, and we'll do this all again soon. There's only one more thing left to say. Shall we do it all together? Shall we? Shall we? Because it is Pink Floyd, and really, they're not really prog, but we could do it for old time's sake. You better prog on.